Behold, Nigel Frith,
The ancient mariner.
the painter, at work in his studio. Nigel, I think it's fair to say that you're never going to be put forward for the Turner Prize.
Definitely not. No. Totally inappropriate.
You are, if nothing else, a Renaissance man.
Yes.
And therefore it's entirely appropriate that many of your attractive works go big, if I can put it that way, on the naked body, the human form. Seems fatuous to ask you what is the attraction, but this is obviously a matter close to your heart.
Definitely, yes. You see, my father was very attracted to women, but he was also one of the Friths who were kind of 5 generations of sculptors, you see. So, I mean, he spent his youth, teenager, up to about 19, 20, doing 3 hours of life classes every day, you see. So and studying the anatomy, as you had to in the old academic system, knowing all which the bones are, where the muscles join. And so but when he was saw a beautiful woman, you know, you want to go, cool, what a corker, he'd say, oh, that's a good head. So he would be attracted to her because of the natural attraction of a man to a woman, but he would always kind of see her and feel her as a kind of sculptural unit. And that's the way you describe. You don't say, what a beautiful face, you say, that's a good head. It's typical arty speak of the old times.
Yes. Are you suggesting that you've rather followed in his footsteps?
Yeah, I think it was sort of, you know, when you've had 5 generations doing it, there must be acquired characteristics, as they're called.
But you say that he studied the human form you know, from a technical point of view. For 3 years.
Yes, at least, yes. But you have to, you know, you can't do a shoulder without, no, it's very complicated how the bones meet here and where the muscle starts and that sort of thing. And of course, Michelangelo and Leonardo, they used to dissect human bodies just to make sure, and that's why they could draw so well.
Yes. Of course, I don't think you spent 3 years.
Me?
Yeah.
No, but I did. You see, I've got their old book. There's a book of anatomy for artists, that thick, with all the bones, and I used that with some lovely kind of Edwardian nude ladies, you know, with their hair done up and rather buxom figures. And I made myself study that and practice. So, I mean, I've kind of self-trained.
Yes.
Which is all you can get nowadays.
Yes. Well, we can see the evidence of your hard work in your pictures.
Yes, you see, if we're going on figures, you see, I had the idea. I wanted to do some figures that were just figures, so that the picture was just a figure, and it was kind of abstract what the subject was. You see, so this I did, and. It's got to be modern. You see, I mean, the one, I think, wonderful aesthetic thing about the modern age is the way men go to the gym and build up these beautiful bodies. I mean, just the way the ancient Greeks did in the gym. The word gym is, of course, Greek for naked. I think that produces this beautiful male physique, which no painter paints, but I think it's terrible that this modern benefit shouldn't be celebrated, you see. So here's a typical modern chap in typical modern boxer pants, when I thought I'd better do a kind of modern type of decoration on it rather than delicate Persian roses or something. So
yes, well, very discreet, if I may say so.
It was discreet, yes, he's well covered up. And this, of course, was to illustrate the history of the cosmos, but I think I forget what it was. You see, the history of the world history is based on 2 halves, the East and the West.
So in a sense, you've dragged the Renaissance world into modern times.
Exactly, because there's not that much difference between them. It's just that our artists and intellectuals are totally hopeless at capitalising on what the modern age really has. But let me get on to the next step, because I want to get this out. You see, he is just a kind of drawing in ochre and probably umber and a bit of burnt sienna maybe.
Sketch.
Yeah, but you need to get the colours. The flesh colours are wonderful, you see. So I spent ages trying to get proper flesh colours. And some of my early ones, the figures, well, no, don't look at that. But some of them are okay drawing, but it looks as though they're just covered in sort of tan like coffee. You've got to try and get the living flesh, and I worked out this system. He's an example of my technique for doing living flesh, and the secret is, go away Bob, you do some ochre and yellow bits for the highlights going to white, and then you do a wonderful alizarin crimson with white to go to pink, shading into purple where it gets in the dark shadow. And because this modern technique of acrylic, you see, the old masters couldn't have done this. If they wanted to do this technique, they would have had to wait 5 weeks for the paint to dry and then do it. But you see, you can do that, then it'll be dry, and then you glaze it, you see. You glaze it with a mixture of wonderful quinacridine magenta. You see, that is a lovely transparent colour, and you get the similar one of yellow, Aralese yellow it's called. You put that over, and then the colours underneath shine through, which gives the flesh kind of luminosity, which it wouldn't have if it's all just done in straight paint. And so this is another abstract nude, and this is my formula for the development that the modern world needs to take, which is the beautiful male physique, but he's devout. He's not a yob jeering and punching the air, being, yeah, I'm the best. He is a devout, beautiful nude,
Yeah.
and the power is there for proper effects.
Yeah. Before we move on, this business of learning how to draw is become somewhat controversial, because one gets the impression that many art colleges now have completely forgone the teaching of drawing as a discipline. That must be something of a disappointment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tragic that they're totally failing the next generation of artists. You see, somebody whose paintings really make quite a good effect with figures is David Hockney. He found at the Royal College of Art he couldn't get anyone to teach him life drawing. They wouldn't do it, and so he had to make his own private arrangements to learn how to draw.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Yeah. Of course, you've spent a lot of time working in the theatre, and you're famous for your theatre sets,
Yes.
which again encompass your ideas of colour and composition
Yes. Yes.
and Renaissance form.
Yes.
I see there you've got a mock-up of your famous Commedia set,
Yes. Yes.
which
And you and I were both in this play, and I think we might remember me strutting over here, and then followed by you doing your leaning back walk, and then me coming back the other way, and you doing the same.
I do, but I remember the set sort of unfolded.
Yes.
It from the front.
Yes.
It was like an onion, really. You as you moved further into the set as the scenes progressed.
Yes.
All of which was painted by yourself, and is remembered. What is this behind you? This feature here.
It was an old kind of massive Edwardian dressing table for a man that my father just bought because he thought it was wonderful, but then found there was no way of getting it into the house, so it's ended up here. But then I got to construct a kind of set, make it into a type of theatre, you see, and
Right.
so it's now, this is a typical the theatre as it developed in the Renaissance, with wings and a backdrop, which is also what I did in with Commedia. And I mean, you get glorious effects from the curtain going up and you seeing this scene, which is made up of, it's just completely flat, but it looks 3D. It's
There's something rather Game of Thrones about it.
yes, something rather what?
Game of Thrones.
Okay. Yeah, well, you
And
see, I can't.
and that surely must be Whittenham Clumps.
I can't get Sky Atlantic, you see, so I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Right, right.
But you see, but with this, I think I hit on something new, which was you have a set with the kind of typical Baroque exterior like this, and the Playhouse were very game. They mocked up all this and got red curtains to go. I painted a huge thing like that to go over the top, and then when the red curtain went up, you got another set in black and white, or with the Playhouse they got their oyster curtain from the new theatre next door. They lent a massive curtain, so this was all silvery and black and white with another curtain over the top, and then you lift that curtain up and then you can get the views, and here's a view of the streets of Venice with the Campanile in the distance. But then, as you remember, the last scene is in the, don't know if the camera can get this, but you can see that's the set of the last scene where you get St. Mark's Square,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
all quite big, right there, right against the wall.
Well known as you are for the figures and so forth, you have been commissioned from time to time. I think there's an example of Don's Innocent Cats.
Yes, indeed. Yes, you see, I went through, just very quickly, I went through the stage of, here we got the figures, and you start putting them into beautiful settings, you see, to make an effect. So here's a glorious girl, taken from a photograph or two photographs, as if she was in an eternity pool right in the middle of Oxford on a sunny day. This is a chap, I kept obsessing about this chap about to go into a pool, and I thought, I'll have a black pool. There are black pools. It has a really effect. He's sort of hovering. Does he dare slip into this blackness? Damn me, I painted this just before the COVID epidemic, and it's prophetic of what happened. The figure descended into the blackness.
As Eliot asked, do I dare or do I dare?
Yeah. Right. To finish up with then, as you say, landscape is another matter, but yes, I like to do the landscapes too on a slightly different method from Western landscapes, in that I use a kind of Chinese method of perspective. I don't know if you notice it, but it enables you to get a whole lot more in than you could if it was realistic. And so, to finish with, we've got this example of a kind of landscape which has got two of my great friends, Sister Benedicta Ward and Dr. Alan Chapman, Oxford figures, and I put them so that she is underneath the spire, because the religion part of Oxford is a big theme in it. He is underneath the Tower of Winds, which is actually in Green College, which is the sort of scientific bit. And then this is the poem that goes with it. And so, should we finish with this?
Yes, I should just say that the reference I made to St. Cats was in fact because they asked you to prepare a Christmas card for them.
You're right, they did. They did.
And
that's upstairs somewhere.
Yes, well, it was very attractive. But yes, let's hear the poem that goes with the picture.
Here's a picture which goes with the sonnet, and this might be the first time that we've had a broadcast of a picture with the painter who painted the picture doing the poem. It's called Two Oxfords. I'd better put my glasses on. Two Oxfords of the spire and of the tower walk on the old ways in the dying light. Their learned ears must feel the keen frost's bite as old roads fall under the numbing power of youthful snowflakes. Dimness holds the hour, and porters shut the cloisters for the night, and make a shift to keep a few hearths bright in the hushed classic or the Gothic bower. Oh, the timely roads would re-arise, and youth, new tutored by the book and bell of gross test, fused into a true foundation, would rediscover reverence, and prize the quad and bod and sacred conversation, and tower of winds and spire of Saint-Chapelle.
Thank you. Well, you can now get on with what we interrupted, which is the painting in front of you. We'll leave you to your painting.
Which one? Oh, I see, yes. Yes, actually I finished it, and as we know, this is all a complete mock-up. But there we are.
Anyway.
These little lies have to be told now and then.
The whole of life is theatre.
It is,
Yeah.
it is.
Thank you, Nigel.
Thank you.